Hey guys, it's Avian Mud. Thanks for buying my Motorola APX system. In this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to set it up, as well as some tips and tricks for using it. And so when you first insert the system, you're going to end up with a model, okay? What you're going to want to do is just ungroup each model in their respective service. Like you have service script service, doesn't have a service script service. Starter pack is going to be your phone to make 911 calls with. Starter player scripts, that's going to be in starter player. Finally, workspace. This is where your cell tower is going to be for getting signal, your dispatching center, and your radios itself. So first, we actually need to enable, so go to File, actually I'll do it again. You want to go to File, Experience Settings, Security. Make sure that Allow HTTP requests and Enable Studio Access to API services are enabled. As well, go to Communication and enable microphone so that players can talk to each other on their radio with voice chat. I do want to make a few disclaimers before we start this tutorial. So, the voice chat system is because of Roblox's new age verification system. Your voice chat is limited to your age group only, which means that if no one else is in your same age group, you can't unfortunately hear them. In addition, you'll notice that actually talking on the radio will be a bit quiet. You have to be like really close to your microphone. This is a Roblox issue. I cannot fix it, although I am trying my hardest to try and find a solution to it, but I currently have not found one. Additionally, when you sit down in the dispatcher panel and on the active units list on the side, I'll show you later in the video, the player image may fail to load. I'm trying to find a solution for it. I cannot yet. And I genuinely don't know what the issue is. So if you have any ideas on how to fix it, or if you experience the issue, send me a ping on Discord, and I'll help you out. My username will be in the video description. All right, with that out the way, let's go ahead and set the radio up. So you're gonna want to go to replicated storage and then open up the config module script. This houses basically everything that you can change on the radio itself, like your channels, what teams can access the radio, webhook settings, and well, push dot key and much more. Let's start at the top. This is going to be where your zones and channels live. The text in the square box is going to be your zone name. Everything else is your channel. Like I have a zone called Zone 1, and then your fire dispatch channels, your TAC channels, PD and EMS dispatch. I can also add more if I wanted to. I could do maybe Zone 2, for example. I could maybe do um, maybe SP dispatch, the State Patrol TAC 1, a K9 unit, for example, stuff like that. Make sure your commas are in the right place, otherwise it may break, just in case. Next, we have your radio text-speech system. This system is very specific, so you're gonna want to follow what I'm saying or this guide exactly. So first, if you want a channel to have text-to-speech, in this table here, you do it in this format. So you have your zone dash channel. For example, I have one set up for Zone 1 Fire Dispatch, which means it would be Zone 1 dash Fire Dispatch. So your zone name dash your channel name. Next, you're going to want to go to, this is outdated, I will fix that. You're going to want to go to config.pagetones. Sorry, not page tones, channel sounds. This is where your actual sound lives. So you're gonna make a sound. I recommend using 11 Labs, Voice Matilda model V2.5, like that. That's just my personal settings. You can do whatever you want. As long as it's a sound, it will work. Make sure that the name of this sound is exactly as you see here. I would recommend copying this, pasting it here. That way you know you can't really mess it up. Then that will play. Now you have your allowed teams. These are teams that can only access these radios. Like you can have your fire team, you can have PD, EMS, stuff like that. You want to make a team here. Let's call it Fire. Color doesn't matter, it's just the team name. Now you have your call sign digits. This is the max number of digits that or not your player, but like the player can insert on their radio. I have it set to 3. So that would be 1 to 999, but you can set it to, without the system breaking, I would say you would probably set it to 5 or 6. But there is no max, but if you want your UI to break, then um go more. Now you have your radio aliases. The info in the number in the square brackets is what the player will input, and then the stuff in these quotes over here is the alias. You can also do pattern-based aliasing, which means that if a player inputs a number and then like whatever else, like the x's, the alias system will substitute it, like substitute the x's for whatever the player inputs. Like using this system, the player inputted 0, 1, 2, that would become 1, not 0, 1, 2, that would become 1 Adam 12, if you get what I'm saying. Now we have your webhook settings. Don't worry, this webhook link doesn't exist anymore, so if you're gonna send something to it, nothing will happen. You can disable or enable webhooks if you want. Paste your whole link here, not just that. Post your even the HTTPS stuff like that. You can send a webhook if a player panics, if a dispatcher pages a channel out, if a dispatcher sends a tone out. I'll explain the difference between that in a bit. If someone talks on a channel, or if someone sends a 911 call. You can disable or enable these with it true or false. That's set to false for now. Timeouts. So call sign timeout is the time from when someone does something on the radio, like talks or changes the channel, to when the call sign disappears on the radio screen. The screen timeout is the time from when that activity to when the screen dims. Um, this isn't one after the other. It's more of a like the difference between the two, and then it will change from that. Panicking. You can disable or enable panicking if you please. And PTT time is how long the player's mic will key after they press the panic button. You can set it to 0 if you don't want them to key their mic, or set it to 10, have a 10-second talk period. The player can override this if they physically press it down themselves, but just for added convenience if they're in a shootout or anything. Panic cooldown. This is the time between panics for that one unit. Like after they press the panic button, they can only panic 40 seconds after. Please note that this is the total time. This includes PTT time. So 30 seconds after this, can the player panic? You can set these values to whatever you want. This is in seconds. Max distance on one tower is the distance from where a player is from the tower until they um, stop getting service and are out of range. I set this to 950 suds. You can set this to 1,000 or 15,000 if you really wanted to. Set it to 1,000 for now. You can add multiple towers around your map to increase signal, or really as many as you want. There is no limit. Um, yeah. Finally, we have your PTT key. This is the key that the player can press on their keyboard to key their mic. You can press the UI button on the radio as well, but just for added convenience, you can press a key. I set this to the semicolon key. That's it for the configuration. Now let's go to your quick call to configuration, or your paging tones. So this will the sounds for this will live in config.pagetones, okay? So let's go through an example. Your ID is just for the scripts. You can set this to whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Your display name is what will appear on the dispatching panel, and your tone name is the sound here, like the exact sound. So I'd copy the sound name, paste it in. You can change dispatch tone. Do not change the name, but you can change the ID. As well, do not change Motorola tone. If you change this, the system will indeed break. Do I change the name or change the ID? Um, yeah, I guess that's really it. Let's go and test the radio system out. Oh, sure, that was a bit too fast. So I'm now in game. I'm on the fire team, which means I can use both the APX 8000 and the 8000 XC, whatever I want. So to turn on the radio, press the volume knob on the right hand side here. Radio start up, and then you can input whatever call sign you want. Or I added the alias 0xx, which means that if I put in a call sign for, let's say, 031, it replaced my call sign to 1Adam31. Now to talk on the radio, you can either press your push to talk key, which is semicolon in my case, or press the physical button on the side here. Actually, let me go ahead and enable voice chat real quick. There we go. That is a studio bug. Why is it not? Anyway, I promise you, voice chat does work. Um, it's a bit wonky in studio, but in game it will 100% work. You can change your zone using these buttons. You can change your channel using the channel selector here. Yeah, that's it. And you can panic as well by pressing the panic button. I will panic in a second because I'll show you this one. Now we have our actual car unit. You can put this in your cars or trucks like that. You can change the zone using this button right here.
Ridge Valley, fire.
As you can see, our TTS will play just as we set up. You can change the channel as well using this button.
Ridge Valley, fire.
Now, you'll notice that these radios have a pager on them. You can remove these if you don't want, if you have like a PD radio, for example, and well, PD doesn't really use pagers. Um, I wouldn't recommend having like your actual gear attached to this radio model because the code is very picky about where certain stuff are referenced. Like for example, the pager has to live in its own place. So I would recommend having like your gear, maybe like your uniform and belt and stuff like that to live somewhere else, and then have your radios over here. You can add basically anything to this. Um, yeah, you can basically add anything to this. You can remove the strap, remove the phone mount, move the radio to stay on a belt instead of a strap, stuff like that. If I were to panic, this does send it system-wide. So if you're on like a PD channel, for example, it will still send a panic. Like that. Yeah, like that. Now, let's go over to the dispatching console. The APX 8000 XE works the exact same way. So, yeah. Now, let's go into our dispatching panel. You can change the password by going into dispatching center, chair, seat, MCC panel to password. I said it's Northwick because, well, I thought of something random. So if you press that, if I didn't input the right call sign, I'd be met with this. I put in the right call sign, welcome. So this was that error that I was talking about earlier. Even though, well, you can see my image over here, it won't load here. It works in my personal game as well as over like other in Roblox games. Maybe it doesn't work in Studio. I don't know the problem. There's nothing in output, so I don't really know what to go off of. You can see that I'm on zone one person. Technically, it should be a person, but it has people. If I change the channel, it will also reflect it here and here. If I change the zone, I'd be gone here and be met with it here. Change the channel and stuff like that. Right, let's go on to paging. Go back to fire for now. So let's start with that tone. So if you press the lightning bolt over here, it will send a tone to the selected zone and channel, like this. It says it is in config.pagetones.dispatchTone, like this. You can also page the channel. Please keep in mind that sorry, please keep in mind that this is filtered. So some addresses and whatever can be a bit wonky, but hey, I guess it's better than sending swear words over paging. These are the tones that I was talking about earlier. You can have your fire or general stuff that we set up here. Let's tone out fire, for example. Make a call, I don't know, reported structure fire, location, 1 Robloxia Street. If I press page, we'll tone out. Like that. And the tone will stop playing eventually. So the Motorola tone will play through the radio itself, which means that if the player doesn't have a pager equipped, like for example you remove it for police or something, that tone will not play, but the Motorola tone will, which is this. Righty. You have a notepad over here, so you can add like notes and stuff like that. One is like this or whatever. Voice chat system. Okay. So if you left click on a channel, like you click it for example, and someone transmits using their personal radio, you can listen to that channel. Like I can listen to multiple channels at once. Like here for example. Um, to quote mark a system down for PGT, you can right click it, which both monitors and marks it down for a push to talk. You can remove a mark or whatever really you want. This means that if you mark it down for PTT with the little mic in the corner, I can mark all these down using right click. And I press PTT, all these channels will be able to hear me on their radio. Only if the player is like tuned to that channel, of course. You can left click to unmonitor and unmark them all. This little signal indicator over here will indicate how far you are away from a tower. If a radio is out of range, you won't be able to talk on a certain channel. 911 calls. This as well is filtered, so I apologize for any issues that you guys may have with like text filtering, but better safe than sorry. Let's say there's a fire. Where 1 Robloxia Street. Again, that same issue. Why? I don't know. There's nothing in the output. Um, I'll do some more investigation. Hopefully, I can find a solution. You can delete a call. I can make multiple calls, stuff like that. There is a 10-second cooldown, um, so players can't spam 911 calls, and you can delete them as well. Uh, that is about it. Um, if you have any more further questions, comments, or concerns, please don't hesitate to DM me on Roblox. Actually, no, not on Roblox, on Discord. My username is mudbud29. It will also be in the video description as well. Thanks for pushing it. Have a good day.